All right, gentlemen, time for a little coffee and cigar. So this is a very good looking cigar. It's not flaking off or anything. And it's got a good firmness, but it's not hard. It's a little soft. Not too soft. All right. And Papa's sticking here with me. That noise you hear, they doing some road work. Yeah, they've been working for almost 2 weeks, and they gotta go up all the way up the street. Okay, so I got on the ammo work that I was doing, I got 2 pounds of shells of cases, and I said, let me look at the prices. The shells are going for about 50. It's 94 cents a piece. So per bag, I got about $50. But I know I'm not gonna get that because otherwise this guy can make any money. I'll probably can sell it for maybe $40 if I'm lucky. And the guy could make $10 a bag. I decided that I'm going to get rid of this the 162 grain. It's too heavy for what I need, you know. So I got about 400 rounds, 400 bullets to sell. And the boxes, man, they're going up. The boxes are going for 50, 60. Some boxes are going for 70. I saw one go for 105. I'm going, wow. But they're special bullet for plates, and that's another type of shooting. Target shooting kind of thing. So I'm going to be keeping the 140s and the 145s and a few of the 160s. So I got a box of 154. I got to find a load for that. And then I have, and then I'm going to get rid of the other, you know, the three 160s and the one box of 162. I'm sorry it's noisy. Well, I got another chair. I brought this one from the office. It's a little bit better. It's not the best either. The best chair is the one I have on the computer inside because it's too noisy out there. It's a nice breeze, but it's too noisy. So I still gotta go through another 5. So I got here 140, and these are the Curries. I can tell. They're good bullets. I got a box here 140. This one puts out 3,070 feet per second. This is a hot load. But I'll recognize it when I take it out. I don't think I'm going to get rid of these 145s. I'm going to keep them and use them if I do decide getting that rifle, because I'm still I'm up in the air. These are the, I think I see a little bit of the crimping. These are the Speer 145. Yeah, Speer Bowtail 145. 145 grain. That's a very good balance between the 140 and 150. The 150 might be a little bit too heavy. 145 is just right. So I went on my ballistics calculator and I put down the numbers. And between the I didn't do the 308 because I know the 308 is not going to compare as far as the trajectory. It's a little more of a rainbow, but I did the 708, the 270, and the 7 mag. The 7 mag, being there's a Magnum, it came above everybody else. And the 270, it's a little under, which is kind of weird, a little under the 708. And the reason is that the 708 is shooting the same bullet as the 7 mag, which is 284, .284. The 270, it's 277. You have a little bit more girth on the 284, and being that it has just 7 grams more, 7 grams more than the 270 bullet, it has a little more weight to it, and it gives you a little bit extra, because the heavier you go, believe it or not, it gives you a little bit extra range, because that momentum is kept on the bullet and it doesn't deflect too much with the wind and anything like that. So the 270, even though it's pretty flat shooting, the trajectory between the 7MY and the 270, and this is at 500 range, kind of considering I'm getting this gun one caliber or the other. So this is a 145, and the last box is 145 7828, which is a good power, and it's putting out 3,108 feet per second. This is hot. Yeah, it looks like it's a Curry. It's a Curry bullet. I must have bought. I counted the box, and I got 92, almost 100. So I don't remember buying 2 of those, but maybe I did. So on these here, I'm going to dismantle. I got 80 rounds right now. I'm going to take apart 40. So I'm going to end up having almost 2 pounds, because each of the 2-pound bags, I counted the shells are 50. That's about $100 worth of shells in 2 bags. I'm going to have 40. It's going to be a pound and 3/4, something like that. But then, and there's always a but, I open up the Magnum and looked at it. That gun, man, I forgot how nice looking. You know, I like rifles. This is a very, very good looking rifle. I mean, Browning made a perfectly good gun. The only issue I'm having, and you know this by now, you've been seeing my videos, is the weight. But you know what? This is not a walking around gun. This is a sitting down. So you go off maybe 500 yards, you can carry that, and sit down. And anything coming your way at a long distance, you can pop it, because that Magnum can reach out there and touch it. It's not a backpacking gun. In fact, my first backpacking trip that I did in my late 40s, it was 20 years ago. Actually, almost 30 years ago. I took the Magnum, and it killed me, because I didn't know much about backpacking. I just took too much of everything. You know, I took a 45, and I took a DVD player, and then I took all the food. I was there for a week. You know, I loved it. I loved it, being out there in the woods with a good view. I was up on a hill with a huge meadow in front of me, and I had a big view, and I could see coyotes, and you know, I see deer, and you know, but very far away. But at least you see it in the open. Once you start going into the timber, no, you don't need a gun that big for the type of terrain. But to sit on a hilltop and just, you know, watch, and when you see game moving, and you can just get a good position there and put your pod, put your tripod in front, and you can rest the gun. That's perfect for that gun is perfect for that type of hunting. If you're in Wyoming, you can rest on the edge of the door, and or you can shoot from the back of the truck. And, the different positions for long range. You don't want to be shooting standing up because you're not going to hit nothing. That's a perfect gun for that because it gets out there. The range, the Rainbow 7MOA and the 270, they were almost inside each other. A little gap at the end, little gap, and then the 7 mag was above it because it dropped less. And I put down the same bullet, same weight, same. Did I do the same powder? Because I gotta go by the book, and the book gives you different loads. But I try to keep it as close to each other as possible. The type of powder and the amount of powder, everything. The ballistical efficiency changes a little bit on each bullet because one is flat base, the other one is bow tail. But between the 270 and the other ones, it's just 7. It's 0.7. No, I mean 7. It's 7. So there is a little difference, The 270 is a good shooting, especially with my Ruger. It's a good shooting bullet, very flat. So for a semi-auto, being that I want a short stroke, I don't want the big kick, the 7M8 is about the only way to go. I don't want to go 243 because the 243, it's also a 308 case, but the bullet size is not that big. Let me look at my book here. Okay, in the Speer book, 7M8 has some big bullets. This bullet, you can go from 110 grain, 115, 120, 130, 145, 160, and 175. It has a 175, which is pretty good. I thought it would be 170, so 175. You can do elk with that if you're close enough, and you can keep that speed and energy. Oddly enough, it doesn't have a 150. 150 is mostly in the 30 caliber. Now okay, let me jump to the 270 real quick. The 270, you can shoot even varmints because it goes to 90 grains, and this thing is flying out the muzzle at 3450. That's burning. 3433, 3391, 3341, 3274, 3212. It's flying. So it goes 90 grain, 100 grains, 130, 150, and in this book it stops there. But in the other book it goes to 170 grains. This is Speer. The other one is Nosler. And I've been loading from both. 7mm Remington Magnum, 110, 115, 120, 130, 145, 160, and 175. It gets up there for the heavy game. Okay. Well, by the way, this cigar, I'm beginning to like it. Good aroma, good taste, no bite, good diameter. It's not a 1 hour cigar, and it's a red label. Arturo Fuentes. Oh, I just saw a picture. I want to show you what I used to do. Exactly like this. Okay, you see this guy? That was me. Carrying a full pack with a rifle, the binoculars, a side gun. I mean, I overdid it the first time I went out there. I even took my Yosemite Sam, which is a heavy gun, and I almost killed myself. And that's when I proved to myself that my heart is working fine. Because if I had a bad heart, I would have been dead right there. Okay, here's the 243. Of course, you got to start from the beginning, not from the rear of the book. Okay, this one goes low. It goes 70 grains, 75, 80, 85, 90, 100, 105, and 100 and that's it, 105. So 105 to me, even though, I see a picture here, they're killing mountain goats and they're killing deer, and I know a friend that has a 243 that he shoots all the deer in the head. He's pretty accurate. I think that's the only gun he has. And it kicks like a 7M8. It's not a kick like a 308, even though the case is the same, because you're pushing a smaller bullet and you don't get the big impact. The average speed with a heavier bullet, 105, you're looking between 2869 to down to 1965. The higher grain amount, it's with the AA powder. I've never used that one. It's 44 grains or 43 grains for the 7828 IMR powder. 44, 44, 43, 44, 42. And then you start going down 40, 41, 38, down to 20. So it doesn't have a bullet that, to me, if you shoot an animal in the body, it better be close up. You can shoot far, but it's not really. This is like a varmint, coyote, small, antelope kind of animal, California deer, coastal deer. I don't think I would shoot a mule deer with this because, you know why they call them mule deers. They're pretty big. You need a little more weight behind it. 100 grains, and then you get a wind blowing or something, changing temperature. All that stuff has a bearing on the performance of the bullet. So you got the diameter on that is 243. The 270 is 277, and the 7 mag or the 708, it's 284. It's a good bullet. I'm not putting it down. It's a good bullet and a good rifle. My friend has a Remington. I think it's a Remington 700, the old ones, which they were better made than the ones that started making later, and then they were having problems with it, and so it's a good bullet. But I would rather have a heavier diameter, a thicker diameter bullet to shoot a deer beyond 250. The 243, I haven't read the specs on it, haven't read the performance on it, but I'm guessing, my opinion, my gut feeling, let me put it that way, that with this caliber, I wouldn't shoot at anything beyond 300 yards. Not because it's got the powder, it's got the power of a 308 almost, but the bullet's too small. So by the time you get out there, you're going to have a lot of wind, shifting, and if it's too hot, if it's too cold, that kind of thing. And then when it hits the animal, it's not going to be a heavy punch because it's a smaller bullet. So I will go with the 7M08, 270. And then they have the other one is the 280, which is a very good bullet. The diameter on the 280 is also 284. The Mauser, 7 Mauser, 284. I had a chance of buying a used 280, but I didn't really know much about it. I didn't pick it up, but my friend did, and he got a deal. He got a rifle for, back then, I think he paid $200. That rifle now. Um, 270 has a very good reputation, mainly because Jack O'Connors wrote a book about it, and he was hunting just about everything in the mountains in the northern territories. You know, up to Canada, and he was hunting the big deer and the caribou and everything. He killed. He even hunt. I think he was hunting bears with the damn thing, and he was killing it. Uh, the 270 is it's a proven bullet. But the reason I bought the 270 because I was hanging around my friend's gun shop. You know, 3 times a week I would go out there, and I would go on a Saturday, and you know. So one day this guy came in. This American guy. He was young. He was mid 20s, maybe 26, 27, and he came in with this Ruger and this Muncie scope, which is a cheap scope, $40 back then. And he wanted to sell the gun at the shop. The shop wasn't interested in buying the gun. I think they told him, nah, not really. And I didn't know much about the gun either. I looked at it and it looked nice, you know, but it wasn't like something like a Weatherby that it pops, you know. And you know, he wanted $200 for the gun. And the shop said, nah, you know, it's a good gun, you know. So I said to the guy, why are you selling the gun? He goes, I need money to feed my dogs. He had a couple of hunting dogs. And I looked at him, and I'm a dog guy. I think you know that. I'm a dog guy. And I looked at him and I said, this guy is going to sell his rifle to feed his dogs. And I said to the guy, let me see the gun for a minute. And I looked at it, I opened it up, click clack, you know, very smooth. I didn't know Ruger. I had a Ruger 1022 back then. I knew Ruger, but I didn't know that rifle, you know. But it looked nice, it looked clean. And he told me the caliber. And you know, and since he was gonna sell the gun for food for these dogs, and I said, you know what, I need to help this guy, and I bought the gun. I said, here, let me, you know, I went to the car and got my checkbook, and wrote him up a check, and I gave him $200 for the gun, and I'm glad I did. One of the best shooting rifles uh, ever made. I mean, a lot of people talk about them. It's a smooth gun. I believe it's a control feed. Some people say it's not, but hey, it's got that claw that when you drive the round and then you take it out, you pull out the whole bolt with the bullet attached. Isn't that a control feed? So, anyways, I bought the gun for that, and then later on, I even hunted with that cheap scope, you know, a Muncie. I think I still got it in there, in my locker. But then later on, I put a better scope on it, and it's flat. It shoots so nice. Whatever I aim, I hit. You know. So I'm glad I bought it. You know, the guy probably lost his job and didn't have any money, and he had to make a decision, and he got rid of one of his guns. And the gun has never failed. Never, it wasn't defective or anything. I think that the store missed out on getting that gun, but you know they have a lot of rifles they want to sell. They don't want to start buying and losing money. So, but I'm glad I bought it. I felt good about it. That I helped the guy to feed his animals. You know, I think he had two pointers. Uh, I think they were wire haired pointers, or German pointers. One of those. They're very active dogs. I seen one in action, and that dog ran after a a pheasant. I mean, he ran like 400 yards, and the owner kept calling him back. Hey, Fulan, Fulan, you know, and trying to call the dog, just followed him. And then the pheasant landed, and he got there, and he pointed. He pointed. It's here. So I don't remember the guy when he shot it, but those are very good hunting dogs. So that rifle, I don't want to sell it. It's a good shooting gun. and it only weighs 8 pounds, 0.5 or something like that. So my rifles are all in very good condition. I take care of them, clean them. You know, that that lever action Browning. It's a sweet shooting gun, 308, and that's basically I bought that for. That was my first rifle. I bought that for a pig gun, so it's a good bullet. 308, you can't go wrong with a 308 also. Now, if you're gonna start shooting far, then I wouldn't use the 308. You know, I would use the 270 up. You know, 7M08 or the Magnum or 257 Roberts. You know, all those bullets. The Weatherby, the 280. 280 is a good bullet, and it was very successful. The 270 is a very successful bullet. So now, I put up a video showing my Magnum, and let me tell you, man, I am split. I am down the middle. I don't know. I want to sell it, but I don't think I'm going to, unless I'm getting top dollar, you know. But man, I gotta go shoot it. So on this ammo, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep 40 rounds, and then I'm gonna reload the same shells because I have a lot of excessive. I'm not gonna shoot 200. You know, I'm not gonna fight a war with a 7mm Magnum. You know, so I can reload the same mag, and then when I decide completely that I'm getting rid of it, then I'll sell the die and the rest of the shells. So that's the deal. But every time I look at it, it's like selling your favorite Porsche. You know, you want to buy another car, but you can't let go of the car. So there's no need to sell it. Like there is no need to buy another gun. You know, so I'm still up in the air with that. And some of these guys are probably saying, "Oh, this old man can make up his mind," and then yeah, but once you see that rifle. Now, one rifle that I am going to sell because I do not shoot it is the 30-06 Weatherby. I am selling that one. I'm going to take that one to the store, and I gotta see what I'm going to do with the bullet. I only got 40, so I don't even have a die. So I can take the bullet out and take the powder. What am I going to do with the shell and the primer and the actual bullet? So I might as well go shoot them. It's only 40. Shoot that and then sell the gun. And then I have nothing else as far as reloading for 30-06. It's a good caliber, but it's not my caliber. I'm gonna keep the best. The 245. I'm gonna pop the 140s. I'm gonna keep the 145s to shoot that, and I don't think I have any more 170, 160s. I think I already got all the 160s out of the way. And I got there about 50 bullets that I can reload. And if I still want to shoot the Magnum, I can reload with those and shoot them. You know. All right, the cigar is doing very well, but it still doesn't have that deep aroma. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.